Gail Zuckerman, and this is Growing Older with Gusto. Each episode, I interview people who are growing older in an inspiring way. Whether you're 30, 60, or 80 years of age, these interviews will help to conquer your fear of aging. Please subscribe to our channel and check out our website at www.growingolderwithgusto.com. And today we have Wendy Parman, the voice of wisdom on stoking the creative fires and how to keep going in life with gusto as our guest today on the show. Wendy Parman's path through life has been in the creative areas of singer, actor, songwriter, and creator of a voice studio in Chicago, Illinois. She describes her transformations as a result of life events, and some of her roles include fronting a roots rock band as a singer, collaborator and composer, performing jazz in cabarets and clubs, and acting in theater and films. There's so much to hear about, so let's get going. Welcome to the show, Wendy.
Thank you, Gail. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. And tell us a little bit, just to start out the program, about what age were you when you got involved in all these creative endeavors?
Oh, golly. Well, I mean, really, in all honesty, I was one of those people that found that when I was a child. I had a kind of a major event when I was 10, believe it or not. My best friend and I adapted a play, and we directed it and starred in it for my school. And like that bit,
wow.
Like the bug was bit, and it was really because I had a really wonderful teacher who like let us do this random project that had nothing to do with anything.
That's great. She really was sort of ahead of her time.
She was. And that like changed everything for me because I was super shy and introverted, but I knew I always wanted to do this thing that I saw other people do. And I was singing even then, but I had some fears of singing, and I still have fears of singing, and
probably 98% of the population.
True. That's very true.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So it just sort of like, I feel like I found something like, oh, wow, something happened to me here. And I never kind of went back from there. From there on, it was like theater and music. And I also was writing all the time.
So that teacher really impacted your life. That's a nice story.
She did. And my mother did too. My mom was a singer, and also she was a journalist. And she wrote, and she was definitely ahead of her time. She was a sports editor in the 60s in Kansas.
Wow.
So for a woman taking that role on was very strange and very cool.
Speaking about that, let's kind of talk a little bit about your life and how your life has had an effect on your transformations. Because I know you've done a lot of different things in the arts, as they say. Yes. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that, well, as you know, life takes us down different roads than we think we're going to go down sometimes. And even though we're going down this, for me, different creative pathways, I definitely had times that I, pivoted, as we like to say now, or changed or switched gears because of things that happened. So I think also it's been a kind of a, I want to say, spiraling rather than switching. It's more like, oh, I'm doing this and now I'm doing this again, but I'm doing it a little bit differently. So for me, it's been, I would say it's related to also internal processes and how I am reflecting about my life as I go.
So your path is organic and it's spiraling, but it's going up, up, up. Is that what you're saying? And you're kind of piggybacking. Well, but you're piggybacking on your skills is what you're saying. Because I noticed that you were involved in music and then you went over to acting. And so I just wondered about that.
I mean, I started off in theater and singing. I went to school for that in my undergrad. And then I came to Chicago to do basically theater and music. And then I pivoted more towards musical things because I went through a lot of just processing things that I had dealt with in my childhood that I hadn't been able to actually deal with. And I couldn't act anymore at that point. I just needed to step away from it. And then I had a lot of other issues happen, like I had a baby, and then I also got divorced about the same time, which is not good timing. And then, okay, now I'm just focused on life because you have to, right?
Right. Right. So
And then,
I don't mean to interrupt, but
it's
I know
okay.
that you had a solo performance, which I'm very curious about, called Fragments of Heartbreak Reassembled here.
Yeah.
Could you talk about to our listeners about what that's based on and how it can help people to learn about resilience?
Okay, yeah. It was based on really a period of depression that I had after my second divorce. And my son went to college, and we remember that terrible winter we had between 2013 2014. Tons of snow and Arctic vortexes, and so my studio wasn't flourishing the way it normally would be, and it was a depressing time for me personally. And after that winter was over, I thought, okay, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to sit on the sofa for a depression all winter long. So I made my web series at that point. I went back to acting at that point, and I made my web series. But the Fragments of Heartbreak is based on the period leading up to the web series.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
Was Cali Solo, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was sort of like coming out of all of that and just saying, hey, all right, I'm going to jump back into acting, which I did, and it was really fun. And I sort of refound myself in a new and different way, but because, now I was older and everything was different.
So you went from Fragments of Heartbreak Reassembled here with your solo performance. Then you also created Cali Solo, which was the musical comedy web series on YouTube. So tell us what was the basis of that creation.
Well, it's kind of reverse. So I made Cali Solo. I decided to go back to acting. And then I was like, oh, I'm not seeing the roles that I want to see for a woman my age. I was 55 years old. Mm-hmm. And I wanted some strong stories about women, so I wrote my own.
Okay.
And that was what Cali Solo was. But it was about the sort of what's it like to deal with, a post-divorce in a funny way, and your son leaving college. And really it was about students and how just kind of a comic take on voice student stuff that was all inspired by real events, but the names were changed to protect the guilty. And and then I realized after I made Cali Solo, which took years, of course, that I had more to say about that. And so then I went back in time to the part that led up to Cali Solo, and that's what my solo show is about. So it sounds crazy, but that's just how my brain works, I guess.
Well, it sounds interesting. It sounds like you have different ways of doing things, which everybody does. Everybody's mind works differently. So you certainly seem to roll with things and be able to be adaptable and meet your life's challenges. And I know most recently that you have a voice studio, right, in Chicago, Illinois, and you produced a Zoom version of the Singer Salon to benefit some organization on the south side of Chicago for communities at risk. Can you tell us about that?
Sure.
That sounds really fascinating.
Yeah.
And so wonderful for these times.
Yes. Well, so first of all, the Singer Salon was something I started as a voice teacher, because when I started teaching, I realized that, I didn't have this when I was a singer, sort of coming up, which was a place to just go and sing live with a live accompanist and with supportive people and not feel like it's a competition. So I was trying to create a supportive environment for people. And I did that, for a long time in various places. But obviously in March of this year, everything changed. And all of my lessons are now online, and everyone's doing, everything online, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to find ways to inspire my students and my studio. And so we did a Singer Salon online, which was just like a recital for us internally. We did it on Zoom, and everyone performed live and it went really well. So then I wanted to do something that would be, in sync with the Black Lives Movement. And I also happened to connect with Rashada Dwan, who has this wonderful organization, bfly.org. And she does, she basically uplifts her community in Inglewood with musical and other kinds of events like that, camps and arts camps, because she's also a singer and an actress, and she's absolutely wonderful. And we did the Singer Salon online again. A lot of my students sang, she sang, I sang, of course, and some other invited people that I know who are my colleagues, a lot of singer-songwriters. And we sold tickets, obviously, and raised money for her organization. And she got to talk about it. And it was just a way to spotlight her really beautiful work that she's doing. And it matched with my, what I do too, because we're both doing things with voice. And the other part of it that I think I really connect with is that I really have learned that as a voice teacher, I'm not just teaching people how to sing, I'm really helping people connect with their identity, and in a way that they may not be able to, either as artists or just as people, to be able to speak better or sing better, and it changes who you are.
How does it change who you are? That's really interesting. I think that's great,
Yeah.
but I'm just curious.
Sure. If you want to go a little bit metaphysical, which you may not, but the fifth chakra is the throat center, and it's also the center of expression. And so it's one way to think of it that's kind of maybe obvious but important, especially for women, I think, and especially older women. But is this, how do we say what we want or what we don't want? Do we have permission to do that? Do we have energy here, or do we have blockage? And if you're brought up with the feeling or the idea that, no, we don't want to hear what you have to say, or you should be quiet, or someone talks over you in a meeting, we've all heard of that one,
yes.
Then we start to shut it down, right? And we may even do that as children or as teens or whatever. And I mean, men can do this too. So I don't mean to say it's only a woman problem. It's not. But
I think it's unisex.
Yes, but it's rampant with women,
yes,
frankly. And so opening up your throat chakra, or just working on your voice and learning to breathe and actually be heard, is a huge part of the expression of who you are. And then you start to know more about who you are, because it's okay to.
So any suggestions for muzzling like an older brother who likes to interrupt?
Well, I have two of them, so I understand. No, I don't know. They're hopeless. Older brothers are the worst, right?
Yes. Oh, and he's a big fan of the podcast, so.
Well, then it's okay
yes.
then.
Yeah, right.
I suppose
we'll cut him some slack.
You could have a code thing where you're just like, you can stop now. Like, wait your turn.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, that's a hard one. That's a tough one. I probably could also say that my younger sister would say the same thing about me. I'm guessing she would. So.
Well, anyway, this has been really interesting learning about what you're doing and about your voice doing and how you've adapted to COVID. And I think that's great.
We all?
Yeah, but you really, as they say, pivoted very well. And I was wondering, if somebody wants to get in touch with you for your voice studio, how would they do that?
Oh, well, I have a website. It is, what is it called? wendyparmanvoice.com.
Okay.
If you Google Wendy Parman, which is just Parman, I'll, crop up on Google and on my website and other places. I have a Facebook and an Instagram, and
so you're on social media.
All the things.
They can find you. Okay.
For sure.
Anything else you might like to add to our conversation, which has been very interesting?
No, I guess not. I mean, I do think that I have been also working on helping people express themselves better in this setting on Zoom.
Oh, interesting.
Because people feel kind of, sometimes it's not as connected feeling, right? Like, I feel like I'm talking to you, but I'm not. It's like this image of you.
Right.
And people who are used to doing presentations and things in person oftentimes find sort of uncomfortable, or they're not doing it right, you know. Yeah, it's partly also the visual. Like right now, you know, we're on camera. It's different than being in person. Everything is like, if we do this, it's really, you know, if we move our head too fast, it's really annoying. And I'm probably doing it myself, but you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's been interesting too for me. I've been having people reach out to me about that, so I'm kind of formulating some maybe like group workshops to do or something. And yeah, but I'm doing a little. I've got a play I'm doing coming up in online also. That's with the Stray Dog Theater that's in St. Louis, and they have a great script.
Oh, my hometown! Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, born and raised. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the gal Pamela Morgan wrote a really cool script called "A Very COVID Christmas Carol," and it's funny.
Oh, great!
It's going to be good.
Let my St. Louis people know about it. That's great.
For sure. You should.
It's great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Wendy. It was fun.
Thank you for having me. I had a good time.
Great. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks much.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Please subscribe to our channel and check out our website at www.growingolderwithgusto.com.